The dark truth about why you wear masks and how to stop. You wake up every morning and put on a performance. You probably don't even realize you're doing it anymore. It's become so automatic, so ingrained in your daily routine, that the mask you wear feels more real than the face underneath. But here's what nobody wants to admit. Every single one of us is living a lie. Not intentionally, not maliciously, but we're all walking around pretending to be someone we're not. And the most terrifying part? We've been doing it for so long that we've forgotten who we actually are beneath all that pretense. Think about it. Right now, as you're watching this, you're probably presenting a certain version of yourself to the world. Maybe you're the successful professional who has it all together. Maybe you're the caring friend who never shows weakness. Maybe you're the independent person who doesn't need anyone. But deep down, in those quiet moments when you're completely alone, you know that's not the whole truth. The dark psychology behind why we wear these masks goes deeper than you might think. It starts early, usually in childhood, when we learn that certain parts of ourselves are acceptable and others aren't. We discover that showing vulnerability gets us hurt. We realize that expressing our true thoughts might lead to rejection. We learn that fitting in feels safer than standing out. So we adapt. We become masters of reading the room and adjusting ourselves accordingly. We develop different versions of ourselves for different situations. There's the work version, the family version, the social media version, the romantic relationship version, each one carefully crafted to give people what we think they want to see. But here's the twisted truth that most self-help advice won't tell you. These masks don't just hide who you are from others. They hide who you are from yourself. Every time you suppress a genuine thought, every time you fake a smile when you're hurting, every time you agree when you actually disagree, you're training yourself to disconnect from your authentic self. The psychology behind this is actually quite sinister. Your brain, in its attempt to protect you from social rejection, starts to convince you that the mask is the real you. You begin to identify so strongly with these false personas that your authentic self becomes a stranger. You lose touch with your genuine desires, your real emotions, your actual opinions. And society encourages this. We're told to be professional, to be positive, to be agreeable. We're rewarded for conformity and punished for authenticity. The message is clear. Your real self isn't good enough, so keep that mask on tight. But what's the real cost of this constant performance? It's exhaustion. Deep, bone-deep exhaustion that no amount of sleep can fix. It's anxiety about being found out, about someone discovering that you're not who you pretend to be. It's depression that comes from feeling disconnected from your own life. It's the gnawing sense that you're living someone else's existence. You start to feel like an imposter in your own life. You look around at your accomplishments, your relationships, your circumstances, and wonder if any of it is really yours or if it all belongs to the character you've been playing. You begin to question whether anyone actually knows you or if they just know the performance you've been giving. The most damaging part is how these masks affect your relationships. When you're constantly performing, you can never truly connect with others. You're always maintaining a safe distance, always keeping certain parts of yourself hidden. You might have dozens of friends, but feel completely alone because none of them know the real you. You might be in a long-term relationship, but feel like your partner fell in love with a character, not a person. And here's something that might shock you. Other people can sense when you're wearing a mask, even if they can't consciously identify it. There's something about authentic presence that humans are naturally drawn to, and something about false personas that keeps people at arm's length. The very thing you think is protecting you from rejection might actually be causing it. So how do you start recognizing your own masks? Pay attention to when you feel most and least like yourself. Notice the moments when you catch yourself saying things you don't really mean or agreeing with opinions you don't actually hold. Observe how your behavior changes in different environments and with different people. Ask yourself these uncomfortable questions. When was the last time you expressed a genuinely unpopular opinion? When did you last show vulnerability without immediately trying to cover it up? When did you last say no to something you didn't want to do, even though it might disappoint someone? The process of removing these masks isn't easy, and it's not supposed to be. It requires courage, the kind of raw, uncomfortable courage that most people spend their entire lives avoiding. You have to be willing to risk rejection, to face disapproval, to stand in your truth, even when it feels terrifying. Start small. Choose one relationship, one situation, one conversation where you commit to being more authentic. Share a genuine thought instead of saying what you think the other person wants to hear. Express a real emotion instead of putting on a brave face. Ask for what you actually want instead of settling for what's safe. Yes, some people will react negatively. Some might even walk away. But here's what you'll discover. The people who matter, the people who are worth having in your life, will be drawn to your authenticity. They'll appreciate the real you in ways that your masked self never experienced. You'll also discover something profound about yourself. Underneath all those layers of pretense, underneath all those carefully constructed personas, there's a person worth knowing. There's someone with unique thoughts, genuine emotions, and authentic desires. There's someone who doesn't need to perform to be valuable. The transformation that happens when you start living authentically is nothing short of revolutionary. The exhaustion lifts. The anxiety about being discovered disappears because there's nothing to hide. The depression that comes from disconnection starts to fade as you reconnect with yourself. Your relationships become deeper, more meaningful, more satisfying. Instead of maintaining dozens of surface-level connections with people who know your mask, you develop genuine bonds with people who see and appreciate your authentic self. But perhaps most importantly, you'll finally feel at home in your own life. You'll look around at your circumstances and know that they're truly yours, created by your authentic choices rather than by the performance you felt you had to give. This isn't about becoming selfish or inconsiderate. It's not about using authenticity as an excuse to be cruel or thoughtless. True authenticity includes kindness, respect, and consideration for others. But it means expressing these qualities genuinely from your real self rather than as part of a performance. The dark truth is that you've been living as a stranger to yourself, and you've been doing it for so long that it feels normal. But normal doesn't mean healthy. Normal doesn't mean fulfilling. And normal definitely doesn't mean it has to continue. You have a choice right now. You can keep wearing the masks, keep performing, keep living as someone you're not. Or you can start the uncomfortable but liberating journey back to yourself. You can begin the process of removing the layers of pretense and discovering who you really are underneath. The world doesn't need another perfect performance. It needs your authentic voice, your genuine presence, your real self. And despite what you've been led to believe, that self is not only good enough, it's exactly what's been missing. The question isn't whether you're ready to stop wearing masks. The question is whether you're ready to start living as yourself.